Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to another Nerd Nation stream. Today we are talking Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 6, The Tragedy. I'm here with my usual cohorts as well as someone new, so let me introduce you to these guys. First of all, we have, let me see, who should I start with? Ginger Greek, Boba T. How you doing, mate?
Yalla!
Fantastic.
Way
Got
too
all
much
Klingon
energy.
on us. Someone new, Mondino. How you doing, mate? Welcome to our review of Mandalorian. Thank you for being
It's
here.
a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the invitation.
I'm
I
always
bring the dark
glad.
side of the Force with me. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And my fellow Star Trek cohort, Cash Grab Fett, also known as Cousin Cheeto. How you doing?
I'm always picked last.
T-shirt to bloody Star Wars stream.
Never
Yes, I'm sorry.
wear the band's shirt to the band concert is what I always say. So never wear the nerd shirt to the nerd review.
But that's every review.
All right. Well, look, that's enough chatting bollocks. Let's get on with the show. So Mando's having fun with Grogu on the fucking Razor Crest, and he's calling Grogu by his name. That is his name, no longer Baby Yoda. Remember that, boys. And he's playing fetch with the fucking little ball. You know, he's like going, "Come on, kid, get the ball." You know, reminding the audience that this kid's got fucking powers and shit like that. So get the ball, use the ball and shit like that. And Mando, even though he's having this connection, he also tells himself, as well as telling the kid, look, I've agreed to fucking take you back to your own kind and stuff like that. So get used to using the Force, kid. Come on, get this fucking ball. And he's always happy when the kid's getting the ball. And he also says, thank Ferric as well. This was a nice little start on the ship. Actually, before we get on to Typhon, did you like that little introduction, fellas, with them on the ship? I'll start with you, Ginger.
Once again, we just had the opening show that was basically reminding the audience that you're all a bunch of think cunts, and we have to fucking remind you about every little single thing that we need to do in this very moment and what's coming up. So did I like the opening scene? No. Again, Mandalorian's talking too much.
Yeah, I thought so too, mate. I thought so too.
Just talking way too much.
Yeah, yeah. All this expedition. He was like talking to us, not talking to Baby Yoda, was he?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Grogu, yeah. So yeah, it pisses me off.
The fact that we still have the recaps before every episode, which, by the way, skip if you're going to watch The Mandalorian, because it just gives away everything. The fact that we still have Disney is stuck in the mentality of this audience is, 90s TV kids that are channel hopping when it's not the case. Anyway, I've said that before. I'm not going to repeat it, but I just did.
Cash grab.
Oh, that's me. No, I agree with Ginger 100% that this is just it's the typical intro, and I don't like how excited that he was getting because Grogu was doing the whole little force hand thing. Like, it's just like, dude, like you are making yourself look like I don't even know what to call him, but he's just like he's losing that flair of like a Mandalorian badass bounty hunter when he's like, oh, good boy, Grogu, yeah, good boy. Yeah. It's like, no, like just fucking stop.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys know how I am. Space magic and Jedi are just not my jam with this universe. I love everything outside of it. And this episode in particular made me feel like we are really losing that part of this show. But I'll let you guys continue on. That's just more I'm going to hit on later on. But this was the first instance when I'm like, God damn it, we're losing it. Like, we're losing what we wanted. I didn't want Jedis. I didn't want Force magic. I didn't want any of that shit. And guess where we're at. And I knew it was coming.
I totally understand.
Yeah, and I knew it was coming because the whole Baby Yoda thing. I know, but I'm going to go kicking and screaming. That's it.
Well, look. The one thing is that we all thought this was going to be the filler episode, so at least they went straight to Typhon and they weren't fucking around. Mondino, what do you think of the opening with him playing fetch with his son?
Yeah, the opening of this episode kind of summarizes how I feel about the entire episode. It opened in a boring, recap-y way, just like Greek has said, and you kind of knew that the episode was going to be short and sweet because, yeah, it just fast forward its way straight to the end of the quest, so to speak, as in Baby Yoda's journey to this planet.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
So you wanted some filler then, so you didn't want him to go there straight away.
It's not that's what I wanted. It's like the episode was telegraphing it. Because it's not like in previous episodes where you kind of had to get through a few obstacles before you kind of get to the point.
Yeah.
This one was like last episode with Ahsoka. She's straight in, and this episode just took a quick beat and went straight into the end of her quest to Mando. And it kind of felt a little bit boring happening twice in a row.
Just to counter that, episode 3 we heard who Ahsoka Tano was, but we didn't get her till episode 5, so she wasn't in episode 4, so she didn't necessarily come straight away. The only thing she did come straight away on was at the beginning of episode 5, but I think that had to be a given just so we could flesh the character out as much as possible in live action. And considering Mandalorian is, we were feeling it was quite formulaic. The way that the fact that they actually went straight to Typhon at the beginning of this episode, for me, was fucking refreshing. I was kind of happy that they were going there. So we are arrived on Typhon now, and he can't land. We see these monuments. They look like fucking. It looks very Star Trekky, this planet, and it looks very Star Trekky. These fucking monuments, these pillars, these rock pillars, and shit like that. And Mandalorian, he can't land there because it's just the way it is. So he lands on the ground and he rocket blasts up there. I'm so fucking glad he rocket blasted up there. I'd be so fucking pissed off if he fucking walked up there with a rocket pack. And
I was thinking the exact same thing when they were landing. I'm like, oh god, he just needs a rocket up there.
So we get to the top of of this monument. We see this thing. We know where the Seer Stone is. This is like this half ball thing in the middle of this monument. And Baby Yoda goes there, and then Mando tells him to do his thing. And next thing we know, we see something we haven't seen, mate. Properly originally. The last time it's actually been seen, because you have to remember the prequels were before. So the last time this was seen in Star Wars canon was 40 fucking years ago, and we saw the fucking Slave One in the sky flying around. Absolutely beautiful, I have to admit. Now, I know a lot of us are not happy with the Boba Fett thing, but I thought this introduction was brilliant. It kept you on your toes, but you had no idea what he was coming for. Boba Fett comes down. Mandalorian confronts him. He immediately tells Mando, listen, mate, don't fuck with me. I've got a fucking bitch up there with a fucking sniper rifle. And that's Fennec from episode 5, from last season. She's still alive. And Boba actually says to Mandalorian very quickly before they get into a scuffle that he will actually protect the child if you give me back my armor. But before they can even discuss this even further, they get interrupted by fucking stormtroopers. So the moment they land up to the moment they get to hit by stormtroopers, what do you think of all of this shit? I'll start with you, Mondino.
I think I had a joygasm as soon as we finally cut to the ship coming through with, for me, an unexpected reveal of Boba Fett. I kind of thought that they would introduce that character a little bit later, even though they teased him early on. I mean, the whole rocketing up to, the Summoning Stone or the Mind Stone, whatever that thing was, I thought that was a little bit of fun. And then it went a little bit of, for fuck's sake, and Mando stopped being a bit of a jolly daddy, kind of encouraging the kid to do what he's supposed to be doing. It's like, can this part just skip? And then it was like, nice bit of excitement. Definitely got the juices flowing. And I kind of thought that whole reveal was done very nice, but it felt so slow.
Really?
It was almost like they were dragging it out. The way
Really?
Boba was talking, it was like, I'm going to deliver my lines theatrically so I can stretch every second.
Okay.
I mean, like on watching it a second time, it kind of when you see the lasers coming in to kind of shock Mando into kind of going, shit, what's going on? I noticed I came from above, So so it's kind of like, okay, they're kind of giving you clues as to the fact that there's more than one of them coming in. I enjoyed that whole moment. I enjoyed it until the second ship came down, and that's when it all fell apart for me.
Well, the second ship being what slave? Oh, you mean the thingies?
No, being the
the
Empire coming
troopers.
in.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to hold on at that point because you hadn't.
Okay.
But that's
I'll
kind
go
of
with
how
you.
I felt about that bit.
I'll go with you, Cash Grab. What do you think?
All right, so I know everybody was having joygasms when Slave 1 showed up. I rolled my eyes so hard. My girlfriend in the other room was like, "Did you just roll your eyes?" What have I said since the beginning? Just the Boba Fett thing is it is not interesting to me whatsoever. Even the route that they're going. I've got many thoughts about Boba Fett that actually you haven't gotten to in this point of the episode, but I'm just going to leave it at, okay, was it cool to see Slave 1 flying in? Yes, it's the first time we've seen Slave 1 actually fly anywhere since the original trilogy. Okay, that okay, it looked pretty, it seemed cool. Okay. Then the little scene stone at the top of the thing. I just was hoping that Mark Hamill would have been up there, or not Mark Hamill. I'm sorry. Sebastian Stan would have been up there in his Jedi robes, and then Mando hands him the Baby Yoda, and he grabs it and he just throws it over his shoulder and walks away. But still, was it a really cool visual? Yes. But it's typical Jedi bullshit. Whatever, he sits down and then all of a sudden he starts. Have we gotten to the meditation part yet? I don't remember.
I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that.
Well, he sets him on the stone and they're having this moment where it's like, okay, do something. And then do something. And then he doesn't do anything. So, it's typical, I don't know. I feel like this episode.
He was looking for a switch. I thought there was going to be a switch, actually.
Yeah. But I feel like I kind of agree with Mondino. Sorry if I mispronounced that. But I agree with you that it felt like even though this episode was only 32 minutes with recaps and everything, like it still felt like they were trying to stretch this whole thing out for some reason. And then when I got more excited when the second ship came in because I'm like, yes, Imperials, yay! So some fodder for Mando to take out, and then that's up to where we're at.
Ginge.
Welcome to yet another episode of fan service, because we can't go more than 5 minutes without doing something like that. But yes, it was lovely to see the Slave 1 come in. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm with Cash Grab Fett. I don't really give a shit that Boba's back. I don't really care that Boba's there. The Mandalorian was there because they weren't going to do anything with Boba Fett. Obviously, now that they got some balls, they're trying to poke and see what they could get. But regardless, he comes down. We knew Ming-Na Wei was going to be with him anyway because the fucking recap at the beginning, and you're like, yeah, who's that going to fucking be with the boots in? So yeah, you see all that, and then.
What do you think of the robot belly?
Yeah, it was, why do you need to show it? Why do you need to show that you have a robot belly? We don't need the visual. We're not stupid. We get it. He saved you. He could have just said it.
Stuck her in a Bacta tank. Splooge.
So yeah, and then he puts down the bit where they have their little exchange, and he puts down his gun and the jetpack, and you're like, aha, I know there's going to be they're going to forget something about this later. And they forgot to do something with that later. And we'll get to that later. Because
the old taking out the jetpack and shit. Yeah, that was okay. You could have put it back on at some point. It was so fucking stupid. So the Imperials arrive.
Yeah, the bit where the kid just sits on the seeing stone and Mando's trying to rush him. It's like, what are you trying to rush him for? What are you? Are you on cocaine or something? Are you rushing to go? Yes, I know the Slave 1 is there and you now activated your thing, but don't rush him. You should have brought a rifle with you.
Yeah. And I agree with you because it felt like the Mandalorian was scared, and I'm like, Mando. I don't feel like the Mandalorian should be scared of any ship coming in.
Exactly.
I read a
Yeah.
bit
Well,
worried, not scared.
No,
It's more like, oh shit,
yeah.
someone's gonna come and steal my baby. Anyway,
I think he's more worried about for Grogu. I think he has to be on his toes. I mean, he's not like he's going to be casual about it, is he? You know, so that's how I look at it. Not necessarily scared, but definitely concerned.
Okay.
So anyways, so the Imperials arrive, and we see a whole fucking smorgasbord of cannon fodder ahead of us, and it's fucking beautiful. And they're obviously here for Grogu, but it seems that there might have been initially a little bit of a diversion. Now, Mando realizes that they got to get Grogu the fuck out of here. So when he goes back to the Seeing Stone, to get Grogu's now got this fucking barrier which has just come out of nowhere and shit, and he's proper fucking, this reminds me of something like maybe like the warp tunnel in fucking Quantum Leap and shit like that when Sam Beckett's in there and stuff like that, and he's just about to go on his first leap and shit like that. He's reminded me of stuff like that. It reminded me of fucking Thanos coming down or something like that. Anyway, he can't fucking get Grogu. Grogu's fucking, in this impenetrable barrier. So he tried a couple of times, it's not fucking happening. So he decides to get back into the fight, and we see now Boba Fett with what do you call it? That Tusken Raider thing, and he's fucking kicking ass with that. He's using it beautifully, stabbing people, hooking people, smashing up fucking stormtroopers. Get great fight choreography there. He sees his fucking armor, and we don't see Boba Fett for a little bit. Then we fucking go back to the Mandalorian. He's helping Fennec, and they're fucking dealing with fucking all these stormtroopers, killing them off and shit like that. Mando's using his own body because he's covered in Beskar. He's using it as a shield for Fennec as well. It's a really cool moment. I do apologize. I have to come to my fucking notes here. And then obviously Boba Fett then comes back in and saves them, and he's like full fucking armored up and shit like that. And this is like Boba Fett's first actual moment. This is where Boba Fett is finally being fucking Boba Fett, which everyone fucking talks about in live action. And we're seeing him taking people out, using fucking knee rockets, being a badass, killing people with his guns, fucking all this sort of shit. When they're fucking escaping, he rocket launches one, blows the other fucking ship up. Yeah, very nice bit of fighting scenes. So from that moment to that moment, what do you guys think? I'll start with you, Cash.
Start with me, will you? I see how it is. Fuck Boba Fett. You know what? I mean, like, this dude, okay, he put the fucking armor on, but like, none of that, I don't even feel like most of that armor was even useful. I mean, but and you know what? He fills out that armor so much more nowadays than he did back in the day. So, I mean, I don't see what's so impressive about this character at all, period. The only cool thing he did was that stupid knee rocket. And I'm like, okay, yay, that was cool. He's like, what are you going to do when you're taking a knee? Somebody fucks with you and you just launch a rocket at him. Like, and then he shoots the rocket at the ships, and the one hits the other one. And he's like, I was aiming for the other one. Why would he aim for the other one?
Why would he admit that? Why would he admit that?
Like, why would he even aim for the other one? I think I didn't like he aimed at that one so it would hit it. And it's like,
that was funny, but I didn't like it because why would he? That's just taking away from his badassness. You know what I mean? He's lucky more than badass.
Yeah, this whole thing with Boba Fett is just fan service splooge acid is what it is. Like I.
All right, you have to. You know what, Bob? You honestly, you got to save that for the summary. Right now, let's talk about the scenes. Yeah. So, what do you think?
Oh, I mean, the scene where he delivers the pizza and he's like, "Oh, you don't have money? Can I pay in a different way?"
Oh,
no,
if I was watching this stream, I'd switch channels.
Different rocket.
All right, so the part with them beating up the stormtroopers, that part was pretty cool. I liked the part where they were taking out stormtroopers. Mando joining in the fight was pretty cool. Using himself as a barrier okay, so the stormtroopers become super accurate with their aim, and then all they aim at is Beskar. Like, did not one of them try to shoot him in the crotch? Like, what?
Bob, can I intervene? But I did forget one thing in my notes. I missed it out. We had a homage to Raiders of the Lost Ark here when Fennec was behind that boulder, and she pushed it down, and we got a couple of Wilhelm screams in that moment. Didn't you like any of that shit? No, wasn't feeling any of that.
No, I didn't care. I mean, I like them destroying the stormtroopers. That was fun. But however that came about, but I didn't even think about the Raiders of the Lost Ark homage there. I mean,
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
man.
they probably could have thrown a fucking Indiana Jones hat on Ming Yang Wei, and I probably still wouldn't have.
And it's fucking George Lucas, mate. He's involved in both franchises. It's so obvious to see.
But he wasn't involved in this. Like, I bet you money that they just
been involved in the Mandalorian. He was there. He was seen on set.
Oh, okay. He was seen on set.
Little George was doing this. Dave Filoni. That's the thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably walked around on set and for like.
That's not the point. The point is George Lucas is synonymous with fucking Star Wars, man. Right. He's synonymous with Star Wars,
and I like
regardless.
Oh, and I like the Baby Yoda. Yeah, can I take one of these home and put it in my little trophy set? But no, I don't think. I think George Lucas was there for photo op. He wasn't there giving. I don't think he was there giving creative influence.
I'm not going there. I'm just saying it was obviously to see the correlation. I wasn't the only person to pick it up. I was wondering if you picked it up as well. Obviously,
I did not.
Okay.
I did not because I didn't care.
Fair enough. Okay, Ginge, I'm going to go on to you now. All right.
Wait a minute. Whatever.
Fucking hell. Jesus. Jesus.
Yeah, listen, when it comes to action scenes, I'm easily pleased. As long as you don't do shaky cam and you actually have some good choreography, I'm happy. So I really enjoyed this whole scene for the choreography, for the fighting and all of that. Then when Boba goes off and gets his armor and comes back, and you're like, yay, brilliant. Not because it's Boba, but the whole, just again, the choreography of the fighting and the way he just punches the guy and there's like rockets he shoots off with him. I mean, your way just, using the guys as fodder, and then your Raiders of the Lost Ark moment. As an action scene, fucking fantastic. Great. There's not much else to say because I'm not going to sit here talking about, Boba this, Boba that. I'm not going to do a cash grab. And just going to talk about that scene. And I enjoyed it for what it was. Yeah.
Okay. Ray, what do you say? What do you think?
This is another one of those things that I got a problem with this scene. The once Mando's got to go back to try and grab Baby Yoda, I'm thinking to myself, oh, I know what's going to happen now. This is reminding me of a game called Gears of War in a zone called Horde Mode. It's like, yeah, Mando's and the team are going to have to protect Baby Yoda whilst he's kind of in it doing his Zen mode kind of thing. And he's indefensible. And Mando wastes his time kind of running into it, trying to grab him. And then it's like, okay, this is getting a bit boring. Why aren't you actually supporting the guys doing the fighting down there? And then whilst it was the kind of lasery bit, whilst you've got the girl up on the rocks taking them out, I started getting a bit, I don't care. I'm falling asleep. It got boring. It got boring. It's like, come on, let's get something a bit more interesting going on. And
then so much action, mate.
No, but it's not like we haven't seen this type of laser pew 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 fight scene.
What else are you gonna get though? Like, at least we're doing it now with a
hold on. Let me build to it.
Boba. Okay.
It only got interesting when Boba came out and started doing his choreography, where, as Ginger Greek says, all of those little fight sequences with Boba smashing the guy over the head, gutting him in with the spear. Suddenly, that's when this whole choreography fight scene came alive. And then it got boring again because we cut back to Mando, who's just kind of like, I'm knocked out. Okay, let me go get Baby Yoda. Fuck, have you not figured out by now that Yoda's doing his thing and your role is to go down and kill some people? And then it kind of picked up and got interesting again, where suddenly you got Michelle Yao, you got Mando. They're kind of doing.
It's not Michelle Yao, by the way. It's not Michelle Yao.
Okay, she reminds me of Michelle Yao. But so then it got interesting, and then it kind of lulled again, and then suddenly they had their big reveal of Boba Fett actually in his armor kicking ass, and then it kind of got interesting again, and that's it was kind of like slow, fast. The editing and the way it was shot, I just found it boring. It's like, we'll give you some of what you had in the past. We'll give you a little bit of something new. We'll just kind of have 6 or 7 troops come out of a ship. We'll kill them all off, and then suddenly another 6 or 7 troops come out, and then the second ship comes down, and then another round. It's like, why didn't all those guys come out at once? Why are they coming out in drips and drabs for the team to kind of pull off one at a time? It just felt like they were kind of stretching out the moment, because this episode could have been 15 or 20 minutes long. And so if it wasn't for those extensions and kind of the what's it called, the moment with the Rock kind of hitting the guy with the machine gun, that there's nothing else going on. It's just a couple of pew pew pew, and that's it.
Ray, regarding all these troopers coming in, I mean, we've seen in other versions of bits of Star Wars where they've just tried to create distractions, give them false sense of hope, because really there's a bigger picture to this. And that was the case here with these stormtroopers. They were just there for a distraction to keep them occupied so they could fucking steal Grogu. And that's why they were coming in drips and drabs. Okay, you've taken out a few, all right, we'll give you a few more. Just stay down here and fucking not with the kid. See, and that's how I looked at it.
See, I look at it as the bigger picture is, okay, there's not much we're going to cover in this whole episode. So how do we fill it?
Yeah, I know.
But coming out like that.
Yeah, but that,
kind of like, no,
it's overly dissecting them. I mean, like, for a fact, I mean, the episode's only 30 minutes long anyway. So I think, for what they did in 30 minutes, like it pretty much it just got going this episode from the get-go. No bits of bullshit here, there, too much. I mean, they did go to Navarro later, and we'll talk about that. But it was pretty much everything was around that area on that planet. But I'm going to move on. We have Moff Gideon now sending in his dark troopers to get Grogu, because obviously the other guys are all distracted with stormtroopers. Now we find out that these troopers are actually droids. I believe they might have some dark. Some people have been saying online that they might have some dark side powers in them, because obviously you remember Rise of Skywalker, what happened to fucking C-3PO when it came to Sith shit. So it could be along those lines. They come down, they take Grogu, and Boba Fett quickly then jumps into Slave One, and he goes to chase him. But he won't fire on them because he doesn't want to hurt the kid, so he has to eventually let them go. But before letting them go, he sees the Imperial ship, and he believes that the Empire is back. So this could be also possibly the first. This could be another Easter egg towards maybe like the beginning of the First Order. Now back onto the planet again. Mando's going through the wreckage. He finds the little ball that reminds him of fucking of Grogu, and he also finds the Beskar spear. And whilst talking to sorry, I do apologize. Whilst talking to Boba Fett and Fennec, Boba Fett reminds us, as well as Mando, that he did say that by returning the armor, that he will help him look after the child. And until that has been done, the debt hasn't been served. I do apologize if I'm fucking up here. So Boba Fett now is a good guy. I never really thought I'd ever see that. Fennec, who was a villain the last time around, looking to kill Grogu, now a good guy. This is weird. So these two villains are now allies to Mandalorian. I found that a bit weird. What do you guys think of that? I'll start with you, Ginge.
Well, first of all, you literally just fucking went right past the most important thing.
I do apologize.
Razor Crest getting blown up. It was a huge moment.
Actually, I forgot about the Razor Crest getting blown up. I just went back to talking about the Razor Crest itself. I'm sorry, mate.
We get like one of the moments like none of us would have expected, and that's the Razor Crest just getting obliterated. And I thought that was for me the best moment of the show. So that's like, oh shit's got serious now.
Didn't see it coming,
baby. They've blown up your ship. And now, now we finally have that kind of thing, which I was hoping we would get. I said in the last stream, I hope that Moff Gideon gets the kids now and not the penultimate episode. So we don't have like a quick like rushing through in the last episode. So now he's got the kid with those dark troopers, maybe just robotic now, but they might be infused with maybe dark force now that they've got the kid and all of that. So yeah, and then you obviously you see the Boba Fett come up and chase them and blah blah. Empire's back and down and boring dialogue about owning a debt, and now we're like, oh great, so now we're stuck with Boba Fett and Minge Fanny Way. So excellent.
What do you think of the design of the Dark Troopers? You got a proper look at them this time.
Oh yeah,
for me, they reminded me of a cross between Darth Vader and Battlestar Galactica, the old school.
Yeah, they were like Cylons for sure. Darth Cylons, we'll call them.
Yeah.
They'll make nice when Hasbro eventually makes them.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be toys for sure. I mean, look at them. They're asking to be made into fucking toys. Cash grab.
Everything gets made into toys. Like every character you've seen in Mandalorian right now is already a toy, minus the woman at Mos Eisley Spaceports.
You're going to be able to buy that fucking temple as well. I mean, it's all there.
Yeah, it'll all get made. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Black Series is just carrying on making toys every 2 months, and everyone's wallets are crying.
Cash grab, what do you want to say about this moment of Grogu being taken and the destruction of the fucking Razor Crest?
I mean, the destruction of the Razor Crest was probably like, I was like, oh shit, stuff just got real. But as soon as that happened, and this is me and my Boba Fett bullshit moment, is I know I said shit. We're stuck with Boba Fett now. As soon as the Razor Crest blew up, I was like, oh god, it's Boba Fett's now. And then moments later, I told you if I give you gave me my armor back that I would protect the child. And until the child is back in your care, now I am in your debt. It's like, oh god, just stop. Just stop. For God's sake.
You sound like a South Park character.
Okay, leave Ming Yang Wei. Boba Fett, you just go and you just circle jerk with the Sarlacc or something. I'm kind of done. And so I knew it as soon as it happened. I'm like, oh god. So now here's what I'm hoping happens is Boba Fett dies by the end of this season, which won't happen, but I'm hoping. And then Mandalorian takes over Slave One, and he renames it obviously because they're never. I don't think they're gonna say Slave One on Disney Plus anymore. Like they got away with that in the 70s and 80s, but I don't think they're getting away with that today.
That's fucking stupid if they don't, man. It's just a name.
I know, but you know who they are.
How sensitive pricks are these days.
Goddamn slave! The word slave is not a rude word.
You can't do that. It's a bad word now. Yeah.
No, they're gonna change the name. It'll either be Razor Crest 2 or it'll be but and this probably won't happen.
I feel like
this probably won't happen because they're probably gonna keep Boba Fett around for the cash grab. But I mean, I figured, oh great, now we've got the new this season's Mandalorian team, which now is going to be Boba Fett, Ming Yang Wei's character, and I don't know, maybe what's her face on
Bill Burr, mate. Bill Burr's going to join the team.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's right. Bill Burr. So I mean, yeah, now he's going to go spring him, and I don't particularly like. I like the first season team. This team. I mean, they're doing the exact same formula of the last season.
Yeah.
Now they're gathering the team up. Now they're heading towards Moff Gideon. I really find it stupid though, and this was because when Boba Fett's flying in Slave One up towards a thing, and he sees a light cruiser, not even a Star Destroyer, a light cruiser, and he's like, "The Empire's back." It's like nobody. Like the Empire's not back. Like it's a remnant of the Empire. They've mentioned this many times in the series so far about the remnants of the Empire. I mean, like if he flew up there and he saw like multiple Star Destroyers, like okay, maybe I could see how he's like, "Oh, the Empire's back." But it's like you kind of know that the remnants of the Empire's out there. They're not all gone. Why are you shocked by this? Somebody take that helmet off of him. It's squeezing his brain.
Okay.
That's all I got to say about that.
What about yourself, Ray? We saw the Razor Crest destruction. We saw the truce between Mando and Boba Fett. He also saw information from Boba Fett showing the lineage right up to Jango Fett, saying that he was a foundling and he was given the armor. And this is something I've actually said, by the way, that regarding that shit on Clone Wars, that person who was going on about Jango Fett not being a Mandalorian, he was a very discriminative person. He didn't think a lot of people who were foundlings weren't Mandalorians, and people who were only, pure Mandalorians from Mandalore were Mandalorians. That's how he looked at things. So obviously with Jango Fett showing that shit, Boba Fett showing Jango Fett's lineage, he proved that he is a Mandalorian or that bollocks. So just so you go for anyway.
Question, sorry, before we get in with Ray, but okay, a question on that. I haven't watched a lot of the Clone Wars stuff, but was this established in Clone Wars stuff like that Jango Fett was a foundling or whatever?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It's what but that person who claimed that Jango Fett was not a Mandalorian was also a person who lied a lot, who bullshit a lot. He wasn't a good guy, even though he made that claim, but he was in charge of Mandalore at the time. But he had a different opinion on what Mandalorian is because he looked at it with
new
race.
Information that Jango Fett is a foundling.
Yeah, this is the first we heard of it.
Well, shit, get out of here! I can't.
All right.
I have a few problems with this whole section. Like you guys refer to when Boba Fett gets his armor, the character of Boba Fett, that should be the point where he's like, all right, I'm done with this shit because no one actually made any agreements. We were talking about it. We were about to sit down, have a cup of tea, and have a little conversation. And then suddenly, we've had that moment where Boba's taking everybody out with his staff. Fuck the laser, just beating every cunt up. And then it's like, my armor, it's there. We just leave the battle so I can go and dress up. And then we have his moment where he comes back, and it's like, all right, this is the ultimate moment, the opportune moment for him to go, all right, cheers. I don't give a fuck about you. I'm going to hit the road, Jack.
That would have been brilliant. That would have been brilliant.
That happened.
That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But instead, we've got this version of their version of the A-Team. It's like everyone's slowly being pulled together to build this big old team. And now the new objective for the last episode, next one? It's second to last. So they're kind of building up to a nice big two-parter where they got to get everyone together. So it's kind of like, all right, why are they changing the motivation of the character? I mean, it's like a complete left turn. And it didn't sit right with me. It's kind of like, all right, so you're going down the whole honorable thing throughout Clone Wars.
Oh, you're talking about Boba Fett here?
Boba Fett, yeah. I mean, Boba Fett, if you look back into Clone Wars, his character was kind of an in-betweener. He was a good guy, bad guy. He never knew where to sit. But it's like, all right, so why now are we kind of going with the good guy? And yeah, I think Cash Grab's right in how they're going to use this character and how his assets are going to end up transferring over. Because let's face it, this is all about the Mando and Baby Yoda. And I think they're setting up for season 3 to still be their story. And so, yeah, I kind of agree that the only way we can kind of set that shit up is to kind of turn the bad guys good and kind of, in a kind of bad storytelling manner, make it so that, how do I put this? They make it so that they go out with a bang. And they suddenly they're good guys, a bit like Mr. Darth Vader. His one last remaining act.
They are the dirty dozen, mate.
They're the dirty dozen. Like one act suddenly makes them good guys. They've all been set up as bad guys, and it's kind of, this didn't sit right with me.
Look, look. First of all, I never wanted at all for Boba Fett to be this good guy in any sort of way possible. I was a bit gutted that they made him a character who has a code. I guess that goes with the trait that he is a Mandalorian, so it makes sense to that degree. But I like this show too much to let these sort of things, Bob, put me down. Yeah, and and I'm just going with it. I'm going with it because all right, this is what they're doing, and the show is very enjoyable. So let's just go with it and see how they're doing. And so far, they're doing things really well.
No, they're
Go on,
not. Like, no, I mean, okay, look, I'm the milquetoast viewer here. I'm the one who's like very forgiving of a lot of things and very, I don't hold high standards to some things. But when they do stupid shit like this, where now all of a sudden Boba Fett's this honorable whatever. Like originally I was like, okay, why is Boba Fett even in this series? Like, what? I mean, because he's a Mandalorian. There's like a ton of Mandalorians out there. Like, why does Boba Fett have to cross over with this one? Money. Okay. But now it's like, now you've got this honor. Like, okay, I could see if you're doing a Mando versus Boba Fett, but now they're doing this honorable, like Ray said, they're doing this honorable turn where it's like, he's just like, hi, I'm good Boba Fett. It's like, I am now obligated to help you get the child back. I'm like, that's some bull fucking shit. Like, it makes no sense for the Boba Fett character. Nobody cares. Like, I mean, okay, people want to see Boba Fett versus Mando more than they want to see them teaming up. I'm sorry, that's the fact of the matter.
One thing. I don't want to come across as someone that doesn't like the show. I'm a fan. I love it. I think it's been fantastic. But I think that this episode has just been weak sauce when it comes to storytelling. It's taken the cheap, quick options to kind of throw you to the next phase of whatever the story's going to develop into.
Look, they showed Boba Fett in episode 1. They paid that off in this episode. So that was what this episode did. You know, it had to pay that off eventually. Thank God it did it this fucking season. Because you don't put Boba Fett in this season and not pay him off for Christ's sake. So that was done. So I mean, what in that sense? I mean, we still got a couple of episodes to go. Obviously, it looks like a team up episode with a jailbreak next week. But anyway, I want to quickly go off to the last bits now. Jen, do you want any more to say on this before I go on to the last bits?
No, you're good.
Okay, fine. So we get now Boba and Mandalorian on Navarro. Mando's going to see Cara Dune. He wants to have a look at some records because he believes that a particular somebody can help him locate Moff Gideon, and that particular somebody is Bill Burr. And believe it or not, Jen, and you'll like this. If you look through all the pictures Cara Dune's flicking, one of them is Nick Frost.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So there's a good chance that Nick Frost might be on the Mandalorian next week, in my opinion. Maybe not a big role, but yeah.
The Force Awakens, so it'd be nice to have the other Cornetto.
So obviously, once he even confesses to Cara Dune, look, I'm gonna fucking spring this motherfucker out, and she says, look, I can't let you do that, man. I'm fucking the law. But and he said, yeah, but they got the kid. And it's like, oh shit, all right, now law don't matter anymore. Anyway, we now go to the fucking Imperial ship, and Moff Gideon is going towards Grogu's chambers, and Grogu is throwing these fucking stormtroopers around. He's fucking force choking them, and look, I think he's using dark side powers here, and I think Moff Gideon wants this to happen because he's, the attachment he has with Mandalorian has been taken away from him now. He's on his own. He's scared. He's trying to survive, and he's pretty much possibly killing these troopers with force chokes. And obviously, he's not that in tune with the force, so he does tucker out the poor little lad, and then like his big fucking dark saber, pulls it right in his face. What do you think of this, my son? And basically told him, I'm sure you've seen something like this before, and obviously referring to the fact that he was a youngling in the Jedi Temple. And then he tells Grogu, then he tells the stormtroopers who haven't been fucked over, put him in shackles. And you see these tiny little chains, these little purple chains around Grogu's hands. And that moment, with the puppet and shit, and the acting of the puppet was brilliant. He looked scared. He looked defeated. He looked tired. And there were some good, cool moments here. And it's setting up obviously for something bigger, and we're getting closer to the end. But this was the final few scenes with Cara Dune as well as Moff Gideon. What do you guys think? I'll start off with you, Cash Grab.
It was fine. I mean, it was nice to see what they were doing with Baby Yoda on the ship. It was nice to see that Baby Yoda just wasn't playing nice, just like sitting in a cell. Like I'm sitting there thinking, like, this guy's got force powers. Like, unless they have a force dampening field or something like that, like he's gonna be like messing with some troopers, you know. So that was nice to see. The Cara Dune scene was fine. It was nice to see her again. I kind of wish she would go. Hopefully she'll go along with them on this little adventure because I like her character. So it'll be nice to see her with Mando again, like doing something, not just like, you know, just a bottle episode. And that's it.
Okay, I'll go with you, Mondino.
The Cara Dune scene kind of felt like a rehash of season 1, where now I can't get involved. But this thing is happening, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm in.
It was that, wasn't it? Yeah.
You kind of knew it was going to happen, but it kind of like they could have found another way of doing it rather than just kind of change the lines but keep the scene almost exactly the same. And then my favorite part was Moff Gideon coming through the doors and just Baby Yoda there, just kind of like throwing the stormtroopers around and choking them. I kind of enjoyed seeing the puppeteers kind of turn him into this dark side force user. And you could see he was angry, and he was they kind of had the whole, he was tired and wearing out. And I enjoyed Moff Gideon just going, no, don't stop him. I just want to see him carry on fucking up my troops. That part was kind of fun. And yeah, it kind of like, okay, this is going to be a nice little, what are they going to do in the next episode? How are they going to kind of treat this scenario? But it was a nice little ending. It was fun. It was the last bit of excitement in what for me was quite a slow, boring episode. It had its moments of excitement, and it kind of the same thing at the end. Slow and then exciting, and then it's done.
Okay. Ginge?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, Giancarlo Esposito just fucking chews up the scenery.
Yeah, he fleshes himself out, doesn't he?
Huh?
He fleshes his character out a bit in this scene.
God, it's his mannerisms, it's his line delivery, it's the way he walks along that grandiose manner of, I am the big bad, and you know I am the big bad, and I don't need to ham it up to be the big bad. My subtlety is what makes me dangerous. And I just this was my favorite part of the whole episode because it was just beautiful. This was like, I have conquered, I've arrived. This is me now. This is my moment. Then you walk in, you see the Baby Yoda just smashing up these stormtroopers, choking them. Clearly, yes, you know, anger, fear, and all of that are kicking in. And it's just a great moment. It's definitely the more powerful moments of the whole episode because you now don't know what's going to happen with the Baby Yoda. Is Mandalorian going to be his constant crutch so he never slips to the dark side? Is he going to just go there? It's Disney, so he won't, because otherwise they need to sell toys and make him a good guy, just like Boba Fett. But it still was a great moment, and Gideon just not even freaking out about it and just be like, no, let him do his thing. And then he's knackered, and then they stuck him, cuff him, and then it's like, well, they have the moment with the Darksaber. It's like, you'll get there eventually, but you're a bit too small for that yet. And then they're like, all right, knock him out, cuff him up, and you walk away, and it's just a great moment. And yeah, that was brilliant.
Well, you know when they shot Baby Yoda with the gun to knock him out.
Yeah,
I think that's only the second time I've seen that happen in Star Wars live action. That stun gun. The first one was on Leia in New Hope.
If it was in any other,
I can't remember using that stun gun, the Imperial stun gun, to stun someone other than Leia.
I mean, that was definitely the stun that they used on Leia, but I mean, I don't know if it's been used outside of that until now.
I don't think
exactly. So another little callback there as well. So and yeah, it looks like
but that's more of a logical callback. It's like, you're gonna stun. You don't want to see anything else other than that being used. You know, don't bring in that and inject it. It's like, oh, come on, that's just no. Simple.
Show that they don't stun much, the Imperials, do they? So that was sorry, go on.
I can say one thing about Moff Gideon. I'm kind of getting a bit tired of seeing him only do that type of.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk through, do my thing. We've had like 30 seconds of him being something else. When they kind of had us see him as a Darth Vader-esque type person when he was piloting the TIE fighter and shooting shit up. Apart from that, everything he's ever done has always been, as Ginger Greek says, is a silent, powerful, I own this shit type stuff. I'm starting to get a bit bored of that. I want to see them kind of expand him a little bit more somehow.
Okay, Ray, how it is that this show, The Mandalorian, majority of it is always focused on him, and other characters, even when we don't see them with The Mandalorian, they only get a shine or a look in if they're near The Mandalorian, like Moff Gideon was at that particular occasion. So that's how it is. It's, yeah. So we only ever see them when, like, we never know what the fuck they're doing unless they're near The Mandalorian. If none of these people, it's always about The Mandalorian, and everyone else around them only has their moments when they're with The Mandalorian.
The story is written to be everything from his perspective, and I'm fine with that. But I just want to see them kind of deliver something a little bit different. Just kind of expand upon that.
Then it doesn't become. The moment you do that, then it no longer becomes about him anymore, which is the whole point of the show. It becomes quite like a regular show, focusing on other characters. You know, it's you know, in that sense. But anyway, Bob, what do you want to say?
Oh, I really felt like they actually kind of did branch out a little bit in this scene because he was very taunting in this scene. Like, you know, like a lot of times you're right. He's walking around doing the menacing thing and he's chewing up the, you know, and he's just doing it all. But I feel like in this one, when he's taunting Baby Yoda, we saw a little bit more, like a more taunting rather than menacing. Because like in season 1 and when we've seen him.
Sorry, you want them to expand on that for sure. Because
you're just barking orders.
If it goes back to what he's been doing again, then you lose that moment that he had.
They really need to expand more on it. But I think this is a good like start. Like if the next 3 episodes or the next 2 episodes, we get lots more Moff Gideon, then I'm okay. But it's like, like in season 1, it's like he showed up in like the last 2 episodes. He was in the episodes for a total of a couple minutes, technically.
Yeah.
You know, like, and we've only seen him once or twice before this now in like short snippets. But in this episode, we actually got to see a couple minutes worth of him. They need to expand on that in the next 2 episodes.
Big time.
Please.
Okay,
please. One of the interesting characters.
So we'll go into our summaries now. Now, one of the things that pissed me off about this episode, because even though I enjoyed this episode a lot more than last week's, even though that was a Sakatana reveal, the one thing that pissed me off about this episode is I wanted to find out how the fuck did he get out of that Sarlacc pit? That was never explained. We understand that he survived. I want to fucking know how did he survive. For me, that really needs to be answered. It's not fucking good enough. If they didn't do it in this episode, I hope they fucking do it someday down the line. If they do it on his own show, who knows?
He's got a rocket launcher, mate. I mean, it's pretty evident. You shoot the fucking Sarlacc and you fly out.
No, but it got damaged. His rocket launcher got damaged when Han hit it.
Probably still had enough juice in there to get out.
Well, I still want a proper explanation regardless.
The fans clawed him out.
That's it,
yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you on that
one. I came along with a bit of rope and got him out.
Yeah, I actually do have a question. So in episode 1, when when Mando got the armor back, what's his nuts had already used the rocket on the back. Yeah, right. So he didn't have it. So then all of a sudden, Boba Fett has a rocket that he can shoot those ships, but technically there shouldn't have been a rocket there because technically there wasn't a rocket. I'm just saying. But
the rocket was fired in Return of the Jedi. He fired it then, so there shouldn't have been a rocket at all.
But maybe what's his face brought a new rocket for it?
I believe the rocket. Yeah.
No, he used his rocket pack. Yeah, he used his rocket pack, but no way would he fire it there because he's like. They were above the Sarlacc pit, and he'd have blown up his own teammates as well. You know,
I feel like I've seen that be fired in the original trilogy somewhere, and it reappeared again. I
know Jango Fett fired it, but I'm not sure if it got ever fired in the original trilogy.
Boba Fett just carries around random rockets just in case he gets his rocket pack back.
Boba Fett never used his rocket pack. Boba Fett never used his rocket pack until Return of the Jedi. You know, it was just make you
in it for 2 seconds in Empire.
Yeah.
Don't one up, what?
Well, he's in the
integrations.
Well, as I said earlier at the beginning of the show, this was not the filler episode we all thought it will be. Obviously, now the next episode is a filler episode to a degree, but it has been confirmed that it's going to be a filler episode by it being set up in this episode. So we're going to have Bill Burr being broken out of jail. And do you think all of the previous characters we've come across, including Frog Lady, are going to come back to fucking join forces with Mandalorian in the final episode to save Baby Yoda? Do you think we're going to get Bo-Katan back as Ahsoka Tano? Obviously, we got Boba Fett's going to be along the ride. Sorry, go on.
So the most important thing for the next episode is not what Mandalorian does. If it's cutting to him doing his little jailbreak scene, fine. The most important thing is what happens between Moff Gideon and Grogu. That's what that episode needs to focus on, because we already know what's going to happen with Mando and all of that. But we need to get more substance, more intention from the bad guys in this. Otherwise, it's just a waste of the big guys losing 2 episodes before the end.
I can see this, Ginge. In the final episode, he's fucking twisted. Moff Gideon's twisted him so much, he's become almost like Moff Gideon's little apprentice, and he does all his, he's using his force and shit, and using it against Mandalorian, and Mandalorian's got to try and bring him back to the light and shit.
That'll probably happen.
Well, we know what. You guys looking forward to the next episode then, Mondino?
I sort of am. I'm hoping that. This episode is all about exposition. Let's just tell you what's going to happen and what's happened. So the next one's going to have some excitement. It's going to be a bit like the Prison Break episode in season 1. So we're going to get yet another kind of throwback and reuse a bit of storyline. But I think that's going to be exciting. I am looking forward to it.
Thank you very much for liking my name, Spotiv. Anyway, yeah, I know. One of the things I liked about this episode, by the way, Cash, is that it wasn't your standard episode regarding, save a village, all of that shit, help some people out. That felt kind of tropey and stuff like that. This was just him having to do something, and to a degree, he did do a team up, which is kind of tropey because he's always doing a team up with somebody in every episode. So this time it was with Boba Fett, but at least it wasn't him having to save a fucking village again. You could appreciate that, no?
Yeah, I guess.
Fair enough.
I want to see more of what's going on with Grogu, and I agree with these guys. Is that I want to see more of Grogu and Moff Gideon. What the point is behind all of this. Honestly, I don't even care if next episode the jailbreak thing is like all we see is them heading into the prison, and then kind of like at the end when they're coming out. I don't care about the prison break. I don't care about all that. I want to see what the plans are for like what they've been doing for this season, like Grogu, Moff Gideon, the Force Troopers, or maybe Moff Gideon's trying to figure out a way to infuse himself with Force powers. Maybe he wants to become a Force wielder because he has a Darksaber. Maybe that's what we're doing, and kind of getting into the last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. territory where it's like, this dude was trying to infuse himself with inhuman DNA to make himself powers. But I feel like that's kind of where this is. We don't even know, which is good to be honest with that. But at the same time, do we really want Force-sensitive robots? Like, okay. I was more on board with like them having like the Dark Troopers being actual people, but are kind of like, brainwashed, and they're not like normal troopers. They can actually shoot a weapon, and maybe trying to infuse them with Force powers, and so they can actually hit something. Yeah, that's
James. A couple of things. I never thought that the Dark Troopers were that impressive personally, and we never got much from them when we finally got introduced to them properly. They should have. Are they covered in Beskar, for instance? A lot of people are rumoring that, and people are rumoring if they're covered in Beskar, for instance. Maybe like to be the perfect antidote towards fighting a Mandalorian is having another Beskar warrior, but this time on their side, and it's these Dark
fighting
Troopers.
The Jedi.
As well as fighting the Jedi too, yeah. So it was a shame. I'm sure that will happen, But it was a shame it didn't happen this time. Because we got the fucking introduction. Show us how badass they are now. Show them why they're so fucking dangerous. No, all they're doing is fucking letting their fucking stormtroopers turn into cannon fodder while they do the easy job of fucking stealing these fuckers. They were better off being the distraction themselves because they were so hard to fucking beat. They could have also probably killed Mandalorian if they're that fucking good. Weird how they done it. But the second thing, Ginge, is that we never got to see a Jedi appear. What do you think? How do you feel about that?
I knew that was going to fucking happen. Yeah, that pissed me off.
I thought it was great.
But also, again, what I wanted while that little shit was in the thing was just have a moment of him going on the trip with the Force.
And they could have
happen in the background.
And they could have had that. That could have, I mean, this episode was 32 minutes. They could have had that and actually it meant something. And we could maybe hear him talk, maybe use the Force to have him talk in a certain way, or
instead of having Boba Fett, you could have had so many other like fan services within that little Force trip instead. Or you could have had it all, and then everyone just splooges everywhere, like, oh, fucking Tyler, Boba Fett, Luke, fucking Alec Baldwin, Jesus.
I think Boba Fett was like, once again, Boba Fett was like how they used Grief Karga and Cara Dune in episode 4. People were expecting maybe Ahsoka Tano after hearing her in episode 3. They didn't get her, but you got these guys and people like them, so that was a good substitute. And the fact that possibly they may be expecting people to speculate a Jedi appearing and not appearing, obviously, in this episode, they thought, great, if at least we give them Boba Fett, that will fucking satisfy everyone. And that's what they did.
we haven't got the Boba Fett.
But we didn't get a Jedi.
I don't think we were ever going to see a Jedi. The way Ahsoka Tano just turned around and said, a Jedi may come. It was like setting up, let him do his calling out to the world, let him kind of do his meditation thing. And then I think what will happen is the end of the season. That will be when some Jedi somewhere kind of hears the message, hears Baby Yoda's call.
And what Jedi do you think that will be, Ray? Someone we know or someone we don't know?
I'm considering that this whole TV series seems to be a spin-off of Clone Wars and the TV show that came after that. It's probably going to be someone who was featured in one of those. So I don't know who it's going to be. I don't think we're going to see a
Do you know when this
Luke
is set?
Skywalker
Do you know
coming.
do you know when this is set, yeah?
I know it's set, I forget the time period, but I kind of feel like the TV show is pulling a lot of its inspiration from Clone Wars.
It's after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. But Clone Wars is before that. So it kind of like, it feels to me like the story writing, the characters that are getting pulled in, they're all kind of offshoots of that. So it's almost like a continuation of the story. So if they're going to bring someone in as a Jedi-wise...
attached to this, though.
Yeah, that's what Dave Filoni.
Yeah,
there is so much prequel in this season. This season is... There's so much. This whole season is smothered in prequel.
Yeah.
It's so much of it everywhere. In every essence, with the names like Django, obviously Ahsoka, obviously Bo-Katan. There's just prequel everywhere, and there still might be more to come.
In. I don't see it being Luke. I see it being someone that we're not expecting.
Oh, there's
maybe
Luke,
Yaddle or something. It could be Yaddle.
Well, no, Yaddle's dead.
Exactly.
It'll be oh shit, what was his name? Ezra.
It'll be Jar Jar.
Yeah, Ezra. Yeah.
Jar Jar.
You know what?
Now.
There's rumors that Jar Jar might be in season 3, and I would love that. I would fucking love that, man, because as much as people want to make a mockery of him, he is Star Wars, and I wouldn't mind if fucking Jar Jar made a returning appearance. I'll be fucking loving that. That'll make me happy. I don't know how you guys feel about that. The return of Jar Jar in the Mandalorian. Maybe a Gungan, Jar Jar.
I can't remember.
I feel like we should save that for the discussion video tomorrow. That's a whole nother...
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, we've gone on long enough anyway. And all
right, then. No problem. So, anything anyone else has got to say before we wrap up?
No, I'm good.
I'm all good.
Boba Fett can eat shit and die.
All right. Well, tomorrow we're going to be doing a just chat about everything that's happened during this week, as well as other shit on our mind. That will be tomorrow at some particular time in the day. Look, if you're subscribed to Nerd Nation, you'll find that out in the notifications. Also, don't forget to follow us also on Facebook as well as Discord. Look at the logo on YouTube, but that logo is on those sites as well. That's how you know who we are from all the other Nerd Nation named channels. Thank you very much for watching and have a nice day. Live long.